Namaste. Welcome, beautiful souls. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026. Today, I am going to do a reading for the new year. And I'm going to share with you a spread that I've been creating. And let's just say I'm going to share with you a spread. I have posted some notes in my Facebook group. The Facebook group should be linked below. If not, it's on my link tree. So you can pick up the notes there or just take notes as you go if you so choose. I've been doing a lot of contemplation about what a number 10 year might represent. And every year when I sit down and create a spread for the year ahead, I usually have no particular problem. I am able to work with the number and come up with something. And I've been doing a lot of reading, and there are lots of what's the word? Tarologists isn't the right word. Astrologers, people who do readers. There's a lot of readers out there who are working with a number 1 for 2026, and totally understand why you might do that. However, I think there is so much wisdom in working with the number 10. It's not a number that we hold on to in a, I don't know how I can express this. I feel like it's something we breeze through. And I feel that there's a really specific reason for all of us to sort of capture the number 10 this year. And you can see some of the words that I've been working with on this sheet. And this PDF, like I said, it's available in my Facebook group, and there are some notes on the following page. So this is complimentary if you wish to go and retrieve it. Or I can email it to you directly if you want to send me an email, info@integrativehealingwithsadhana.com. So welcome, Mary Beth. Happy New Year to you. Greetings from Los Angeles. For those of you that don't know, I'm in Gibsons, British Columbia, on the coast of British Columbia, not too far from Vancouver. And welcome to Dee. Dee is in the UK, and Clevis is in Toronto, far east from where I am in Canada. And Isabel is in Colorado, I believe. Blessings to you. And you are very welcome, Isabel. We've had a really interesting relationship. Isabel, I've had interesting relationships with all of you. Isabel did some private yoga with me. She attended a class that nobody else attended. I'm not sure which it was. And we've had some lovely exchanges. It was Isabel who sent me Pagan Otherworlds Tarot in that beautiful knit bag. Yeah, as well as some other wonderful things she's made for me over the years. And Isabel, like all of you, has shared her ups and downs, her trials and tribulations, and we still find a way to connect. So welcome and Happy New Year to you, Isabel. Saskia is in Greece, and Saskia, well, student, and feel like those of you that are here, I know you a little bit, and that's really special. So thanks for sharing this with me. And so let's just do this. I have the transparent tarot on the table. And this is another problem I've been having, and that is to choose a deck for this year. I will likely do this with the Tarot de Marseille as well. However, Mary Beth inspired me. I was talking about creating sigils, and don't remember where we were talking about this. And I had the transparent tarot out, and I shared let's just, wonder if I can do that. No, I can't do that. All right, sorry. Let's stop screen and do this. So with the transparent tarot, I created this very intentional sigil when I was working with Emily Carding, the creator of this deck, at a workshop she was offering. And Mary Beth suggested creating a sigil for 2026 for her card of the year. And I'm assuming all of you know how to calculate your card of the year. There are a couple of different ways to do it. The simplest is simply to add your month of birth. So if you're born in, let's say, March, and you're born on the 3rd day of March, you're going to add 3 and 3 to 2026, right? And somebody do the calculations for me. 3 and 3 to 2026. I probably will have some questions here, so I'm going to open up a calculator just because I was up very late last night. And that makes 2032, and 2032 reduces to 7. So your card for the year would be the Chariot. In response, in conversation with the Wheel, that's an interesting card for 2027 because I think of the actual physical wheels on the Chariot. Hi, Donna. Welcome to you. And Fluxus Tulip. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say your name or not. If you want to put your name in the chat, then I know I have permission. So welcome to all of you. And thank you all so much for supporting me throughout the calendar, throughout the Advent calendar. I am going to draw another winner. I totally forgot that the winner of this year's draw won last year. And so she very kindly declined. And so probably on Saturday, my next regular live stream, I will redraw for that prize for a reading or some cards. Okay. Okay. So let's do this. And I'm going to go like this. And I'm sorry my cloth is not showing up white. What's happening here? Okay. What is that? Something weird is happening on my screen, and I don't know what's going on. Sorry, I'm trying to maximize and change the screen. There we go. All right. Honest to God, this is my least favorite thing about doing this. Oh, I want to show you something. We probably didn't see it. I hope it stays lit. I got a beautiful candle for Christmas. It is probably the most extraordinary molded candle I have ever had. Let's see if I can just bring it over to you. I want you to see this. It's a oyster mushroom. Look at this. It is so cool. Hello, Joel. Long time no see. Wow. I'm just wowed. Lovely, lovely gift. Okay. All right, let's go back. If you missed it, the notes are available in my Facebook group. And I'm happy to email them to you directly if you like. So this is a reading for those of you that have number 10 as your number for 2026. I think this also is going to give us a general flavor for the year. And I'm going to play with this a little bit because there is not another significator. You want that candle? I can get you one if you want to pay for it. It wasn't cheap. Yeah. The artist is in on the Sunshine Coast in BC. Okay. So, ooh, these don't cut as easily. They want to stay glued together. All right, so Wands, Cups, Swords, Pentacles. I believe I can actually see the wheel. So this is really different doing this first operation with the transparent tarot, especially if you can see the cards. Somehow I do see the spread on Facebook. You do or you don't? It's in the Facebook group. And it's under guides, and it's under a collection of spreads. It's a PDF. Yes, and then there are tariffs. Well, if you ever come to this part of the world, I know who has the mold and can continue to make these. Okay, so I see it here. I'm pretty sure it's right here. Okay. So it is in the cups pile. And so we're going to work from here. That means, what does that mean to you? Does that mean it's going to be a bit of a watery year? I think that's really great that the wheel is in the water pile. It shows flow. It shows movement of energy in motion, that the emotions are actually moving. So I think that's a really, really good sign. The wheel is the second to last card on the bottom of the pile. And I'm also noticing there's a 10 below it, a 10 of cups. So that feels very auspicious in that the 10 of Cups is the final card of the zodiacal wheel. It's the last decan of Pisces. And so this feels very like we're in just the right place at just the right time, and that it will be really important to take our time in experiencing all that we are moving through this year. That indeed things are winding up and things are moving on, and yet it will perhaps take the entire year to see everything through. Now, I'd like you to think about and maybe make a list of all of the things you are wanting to wind up. So some of the keywords I put on that spread are transformation, blessings in disguise. Now, why might I want to focus on blessings in disguise in a 10-year? And that, to me, speaks loudly when people are a little hesitant to embrace change. And so this is about a changing attitude and learning to see the turn of the wheel in a different way. Other words that I've been ruminating over are rhythm and harmony, that these cycles, whether they're lunar, whether they are solar, whether they are a cycle of a healing of a body part, or just there's so many cycles that we move through. Really make a list of all the cycles that you are moving through at this time. Cycles are opportunities. They come with portals. And I feel like, especially having this 10 of Cups and wheel at the bottom of this water pile, it feels like this is just a real energetic flow of a portal that is opening for us all. Okay? All right, so I'm going to turn over the pile. And at the top of the pile is the Three of Pentacles. So that also is an important card to reflect on, in that it's a year of building. It's a year of growing and learning, perhaps, to not just look. You see that one pentacle is out in front of the figure and there's two pentacles behind? There's other resources to gather. If those other resources come forward, we certainly can be more successful. Okay? So what I have suggested for this spread is that you go to your card, and in this case, the card is the wheel. Okay, it's the wheel. And so I'm going to put that card in the center of the circle. And then there's only one card after it. And so we need to loop back to the top of the pile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me turn them the other way. Easier to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So in this pile, there are 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 cards. 18. 18 reduces to 9. Make what you might of that. Okay. Okay, good. I'm glad you found it. Yeah. Okay. So where would I begin with this? Well, this card that was on the bottom is now the first card of this reading. And so we have 10 of Cups, 3 of Pentacles, Queen of Swords. And I want to think about this as maybe the approach to the unfolding, the embracing of this new year, and how I might work with the energy of the wheel. And there's something about the 10 of Cups to me that I think is really important to acknowledge it as the last card in the astrological year. That seems to me really, I don't know, we tend to forget that. It is also a martial decan. This is where the Queen of Wands picks up the wand, picks up the responsibility, and begins the journey. And she goes into Aries 2 and 3, which is 2 of Wands is also a martial decan. So there's this movement from Jupiter to Mars. And so it's quite a thrust of change. And the very first card of this reading acknowledges this thrust of change, this need to. And you've all, there's lots of metaphors you can use for this 10 of Cups, and that one of the, the final bow, maybe the encore. I really like that image. So is there something that, and in terms of, and I said to put these together, the 1, the 2, and the 3, and I can turn them over and layer them on top of each other so you can see them. What does the 3 of Pentacles have to do with this? Well, perhaps This is a year to complete something that you began the creation of, that you didn't get it off the ground. And while it might not come to its full fruition, it is really important that its launch happens, that you take a sudden action, that you take a drastic action, that you truly do act and do something about this, because it's not meant to be left behind. And you can see how the Queen of Swords faces towards and the Queen of Swords is behind that figure who's ignoring those two pentacles that are at their back. So if 10 is your year, if Jupiter, if this energy of the wheel is one that speaks to you, also remember that and thank you all for sharing your cards for this year. Remember too, D, that this is part of the energy of the devil, right? The Three of Pentacles. Sorry, where was I going with this? Queen of... I might have to ignore the comments, and when I'm in the flow of just letting the reading flow, I might have to just let that happen. Please know that I'm not ignoring you. So the Queen of Swords faces towards the back of the person who's looking a little kind of, it's like they're looking at a mirror. It's like there's a oneness to this. And the Queen of Swords is behind them. I think they're going to wake them up and acknowledge there's more, there's other resources. Drop that self-reflection. Bring those other resources forward, because all of that is important to this growing, to this development. Now with the Queen of Swords, we have so many places that we could go with this. And I think if you have been struggling, Queen of Swords is a great figure to get to know. Libra is her main sign. And there is a wonderful beauty and refinement to the Venusian qualities that are part of the teachings of Libra. So this could be something quite, I'm thinking fine art. I'm thinking maybe quite a book on poetry. It just feels like there's something quite maybe even sophisticated about this development. So that's kind of, I like that. And so if I put these three cards together, and so this one is at the bottom. This one's at the bottom. How am I going to do this? 1, 2, 3. Well, we can do it this way. We can look at it both ways. 1, 2, 3. And I will zoom in for you. This is a lovely quality of this deck, that being able to layer these cards. The hand of the figure in the Three of Pentacles is offering something to this finale. And it feels almost like that Queen of Swords is going to take that sword and send it all flying, cut it off. There's something quite, I don't know if she's going to deliver it, but there certainly is a strong call to action here. One other thing that I want to say is that if you are doing a year ahead spread where you draw 12 cards, one for each month, this one has kind of a feel to it, or you can also do a 13 card spread, one for each lunar cycle. and do that on the first new moon of the year. That works as well too. One thing I think, that's Amber welcoming the family home. One thing for me that has become really important is not to get stuck on this card is January, this card is February, this card is March. I've done so many wheel readings, year ahead readings, and it's important to look at stories and connections like I did with those first 3 cards. And depending on the deck you're using, there's different ways that you may approach this. Now it looks like all of this kind of comes together, and then there is a running away with that offering. Right? So the King of Cups and the King of Swords. So there's 2 kings here. There's 2 kings that are taking this and taking responsibility and running with your idea. So it looks like quite a lot of success in that regard. And then, do you get stuck between a rock and a hard place? Or do the King of Cups and the King of Swords offer you 2 different ways to view this, 2 different ways to look at this? And so it is important to reassess. Now, before, I go around the whole circle, an important part of this kind of a reading for me is to look across the road. Okay? So if I line these up carefully, and we'll look at the 10 and the 1 for sure. And so we've got 3 here. We've got 4, 4, 1, 1. Is that right? When I'm doing this on the fly, it's so much easier to sit quietly and think about this. But looking across the wheel to the reflection of what's going on is important. So this 3 of Pentacles mirrors this 7 of Pentacles over here. It looks like in that 7 of Pentacles, there's too many balls in the air. And I wonder as well if, I don't know, it just feels like you're not using other resources. You're so hell-bent on doing this your way that you are forgetting there's a lot of other people, I don't know, equipment, applications. There's different ways that you can put this all together. And I normally wouldn't interpret 7 of Pentacles, right, as too many balls in the air. But if we look at 7, so when I think about 7s, I think of Venus. I think of that energy. So 7 is not necessarily balanced by the intellect, right? It's about all of the distractions of this physical world. And then so I want to look at the whole picture. This is 8 of Pentacles. This is Ace of Swords. And 7 of Cups. And one of the things with the 10 of Cups and the 7 of Cups being the 1 and the 10, I really want to honor how important this dream was. And it feels like this wheel, this change, this year, this thing that is needing to come to fruition has been a dream of yours for a long time. And so my question is, how can you take it from being a dream to manifest, to landing? And that seems really important here. And so I'm glad that there are 3 Pentacles cards. I wish one of the Kings was a Pentacle. But the Kings are solid. They're doers. They're masters of all of this. So what is it? What is it that, I don't know why, I feel like, and even when I look at this card, I think you put it, important comment, Donna, thank you. You put it on the back burner. Why did you put it on the back burner? It's important to your own personal development to get it off the back burner and bring it forward. So what is it? What is it? I need you to name it, to make lists, just do some automatic writing to get really clear about what this is that needs to come forward. 7 of Pentacles and 7 of Cups as inner work in a nutshell. So these are the 2 receptive suits, right? 2 receptive suits. They come before the 8. So they stir things up, right? They stir things up. And I love that there's this surge of energy at the end of year to get really clear about this. Like, stop messing around. I said at the beginning, it's going to take you some time to figure this out because that 10 of Cups was at the bottom of the pile. However, it needed to come forward to the front so you realize how important it is to bring this dream forward. This is, could you say, with the 10 of Cups, this is your last chance to see this through. Something like that. It's your final kick at the can, so to speak. So pull in your resources and get practical about this. Another clue here that is kind of important is the fact that this pentacle is an 8. And you know the story of the 3 of Pentacles and the 8 of Pentacles. There's this song and dance about something you have. Maybe it's something you're good at that you put on the back burner. It's like those stories where your parents say, well, you know, that's not a grown-up job. You're never going to make money from that. There's reasons why that got put on the back burner. And it may have been years ago, decades ago, that you did this and you forgot how much you wanted to bring that forward. That 8 of Pentacles is facing the single sword of your truth. It's like you have denied yourself something that really defines who you are. And it's important to feel it. To feel it. And I say that because of the sevenness of the 7 of Cups and the 7 of Pentacles. 2 of Swords, 7 of Pentacles, 7 of Cups. There's a lot of reflection here that is required. And remember that this is not the end and this is not the beginning. This is what I was trying to say earlier, that this is a whole package. It's a whole story. And yes, you can choose to, if you're more comfortable, do your readings one card at a time. This looks like January, February. This looks like March, April. But I think you do yourself a disservice in reading that way. So if 10 is your card for 2026, then you can use, I'm going to go with Mary Beth's idea here, creating a sigil for 2026. You're going to use the wheel and then choose 2 of these cards to help build, and it could be more than 2, to build your story, to build focus and encouragement for your year ahead. And I don't know, I feel like this is an important one, and there's something here too, because you can see that there is a wheel, right? There's a wheel on this 8 of Pentacles, and that feels highly significant. And then what other card? I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe this one. And if you let's say, you don't have this tarot, take a black and white photocopy of a wheel card and create or focus, highlight the symbols that are really meaningful to you on that card, and then build a focus of energy for yourself to keep coming back to what is important this year. My trouble with these kinds of spreads is that we don't come back. We do these early in the year and then we forget to come back. And I think that is kind of important. All right. Is there anything else that I want to share with you in terms of, these are all just ideas of ways to do a 10 card spread. Another, I think, important question is that, and remember that the wheel was in the water pile. So this is a water wheel. This wheel is most definitely moving. It is not stuck. And that 10 of Cups is really important there. You have the King of Cups as well, too. So some big watery energy. Because your number is 10, I would also work very closely and be mindful of the 10th card. I think the 10th card has an important lesson for you. And that may be to give yourself permission to get lost in your dreams. It's funny, I was up late last night because I was editing a video and not partying. And I talked about a 7 of Cups, and I was thinking about the Sometimes the Seven of Cups energy, we can get there through meditation. And we can begin to see all the possibilities in meditation. If we stay long enough, we will find focus and clarity. We can also, some people get there through psychedelics, mushrooms, different ways can people get to that experience. But that experience can only land if we know how to come down. And that grounding component is really important. And when I look at this wheel, I think about something. I wish I could turn my camera and show you, but you wouldn't really get the effect. I have a wheel over on the wall, and out of that wheel, there are some rocks that are hanging down, some weights. And I feel like that is an important part of this, grounding practices and things like that. After studying numerology for years and years, I find it impossible to think of a 10 as a 10. It is a 1 for me. For sure. And this is how I started today. I started saying that I think this is a number that we gloss through so quickly. And when we're reading the tarot, if we only think of the 10s as a 1, we forget to be in the 10. There's a reason there's an ace and a 10. And I think the experience of being in the 10 is to feel the 10. This is the person who says, okay, I don't want a funeral. I don't want a celebration of life. Just, put me in the kiln and send me on my way. Put me in a box in the ground and send me on my way, whatever. Or this is the person who has great things to celebrate for retirement, but doesn't want the retirement party, doesn't want to be the center of attention. There's these particular endings that are worthwhile pausing with. And I think there's something important to that. I'm not just talking to Dawn, I'm talking to myself and to everyone. So it's like, why do we gloss through that 10? Because we have an opportunity, this portal. So I think portal's a really good word here. I would also pay attention this year to all of the portals, the double days, February the 2nd, March the 3rd, April the 4th, as well as any days that line up numerologically to, great openings. I feel like Lion's Gate is going to be particularly big this year, and maybe it's going to be October 10th or January 1st is today. So there's something about being on the threshold that is not a bad thing. It's such a magical place to be. It feels kind of full of opportunity, and it has a real sort of buzzy quality to it, like that 7 of Cups. It's almost as if you're the only one that sees it and nobody else sees it. I recently re-watched Kate and Leopold. And there is a character who finds a way to experience fractals, time fractals, and he gets put into a mental hospital, and nobody believes him, and he's talking to one of the nurses there, and he says something like, well, dogs don't see color, but I'm the dog who did see the rainbow. Examples like that, like you feel like you're the only one who sees it. And so you start to doubt yourself. And I feel like that's very much part of this story, that you doubted yourself, you doubted your potential. And Donna said something earlier about, let me go back to what you said. So many great things here. Okay, let's go back. Okay, let's go back here. I'm just going to go through the comments so I don't miss it. Love the cross over the energy. Isn't the tarot grand? It's so wonderful. And remember that with this particular reading, there is something here that will affect all of the subsequent readings. That is an important part of whether you do something personally for your own card of the year, or whether you you wait until I do one for you. Okay. All right. We asked for project. Happy New Year, Donna. Saw this one. I hope that you do. I hope that you do, Dee. And Saskia. Okay. And, you know, this is such a layered card for layers of interpretation. And there's often a couple, often children, often more people in this card. There is a rainbow. And I think that this being the sort of first card of the first reading of this series is highly significant. It's highly spiritual as well. That's Amber dreaming. I'm sorry. She probably dreaming about the fireworks last night that terrorized her. That's a really interesting idea. Really great idea. You are also wise. Okay. So I would like to use different decks throughout this series to reflect on the numbers, to reflect on the year ahead. And I'm feeling like with this year's series, I don't know, I just don't feel like pinned down to a deck. There's something about this that I just want to move with what moves me. And maybe with the cards that have like the devil and the Hierophant, those cards, using a more earthy deck. And you know, Jupiter is kind of expansive and full of possibilities, and I don't know, I just wanted to pull out the transparent today. Now, with that sword with the wheels, looks like a stick in the wheel, stopping the spinning by too much thought. Just go for it. Let the wheel spin. Take the sword out. That's great, Joel. Yes, and sometimes we just have to name it. and say it out loud. And I think that's why I keep repeating myself and to everybody, talk your readings. When you do a reading, say your reading out loud. Pretend you're delivering it to somebody else. So not just awareness, but naming it is really important. Tens have turned the corner and gone forward, moving on. You know, I've thought about this in so many ways, Donna, and I think one of the most impactful decks that, in terms of the tarot, that influenced how I see this is that it was a Herbcrafter tarot. And in that particular deck, the nines are ripe fruit. They are ripe for the picking. Something, it's kind of like an avocado. There's only a couple of days where it is absolutely delicious and it's just perfect. And you go one day too far and it's got black spots. The nine is just, it's so luscious and it's something to enjoy, something very much to enjoy. And then with the 10 in the Herbcrafter, those are all composting plants. It's like there's work to do in honoring the turning of the wheel. So there's something we have to do in order for the wheel to turn. I mean, it's gonna turn anyway, but I feel like there's a contribution, and sometimes I use the word responsibility. I think a lot of times people come for a reading and they just want you to fix them. They just want you to tell them what to do. They don't want to go away with homework. But I think in the 10, that the turning of the wheel, the lesson that we are moving through, is better integrated if we participate in that turning. So something like that. Good movie, isn't it? Kate and Leopold. And Clevis was talking about the triple portal, a way through so much more energy. So perhaps today, before you go to bed, you're all at different times of the day. I'm probably the last one. It's only early afternoon. Really think about this. Is there a window you can open? Is there a door you can open and just stand in front of it and say a prayer, make a spell, open, sing, chant. And if you haven't spiritually welcomed in the new year, take time to do that. I do. I like the lessons in that book. Okay. Thank you. Be a little devil, go with the flow, allow yourself to be free, pick a deck you love on the day. Yeah, it's like I don't want to be pinned down and committed to using a certain deck. And, today I had to figure out how I was going to cover my table because the cloth that comes with this deck is too small and my light board is too small. So it's not something I can whip on and off and do on a wing, to wing it, so to speak. Other decks, a lot easier with that. I do want to talk about the video I was editing last night, but just let me finish these. Tennis, a new life. How are the stars at night, the sky? We haven't had snow here. I still have green grass. So I'm feeling not so much in winter. Okay. I have been clearing out my cabinet and going through all of my decks. And oh my God, this is such a process and really has me thinking about everything as far as buying tarot decks. And tarot decks I actually use and the ones that I don't. And the ones that I don't want to let go of because they're kind of personal and I sometimes reach for them for a personal reading. And I think if somebody had asked me on the fly, are there decks that you use just for yourself? They wouldn't come to mind. So the exercise of going through all of your tarot decks is, I found, kind of worthwhile. It's exhausting, especially if you're making a video and editing it, but really good exercise. So I separated my decks into mass market, and I know there's one mass market deck in yesterday's video when I was pulling out Julia Cuccia Watts's Real Sky Astrology deck. I pulled out the Ancestral Path Tarot, and I don't know if I showed that in the previous video or not, so break my own rules. And then I want to do one more. So I have my more historical decks that I want to share, but I have to tell you something. God, I don't know why I bought this deck. Do you know this deck? This is Deck of the Bastard. Here, let me do it this way. I'll move the reading over. So I'm going to do one more on my historical decks. And I'm really looking forward to this. And I have to say, I'm very sad that I missed out on the Matronua Tarot. I think that would have been a nice deck to have. So in the Deck of the Bastard, we have cards that are from the Soprafino Tarot. Like this Hierophant is from the Soprafino, and the aces are from the Soprafino. And then there's a few. There's this one. There's that. Because in the bulk of the cards, so the minors are from the Waitsmith. This is such a stupid deck. Oh my God. I want to talk about why it was created in the first place. And then there are a number of cards from the Atea Tarot. So the court cards and most of the major arcana is from the Atea Tarot. And way back when I bought this deck, I purchased this one so I could look at the cards and better understand the intention of some of these majors that I was not very familiar with. So when I look at this particular deck, the main keyword for this one is maladie. This is le bateleur, le magicien. And in reversed, it's also maladie. And the order of the cards is really, really interesting. Like, it matters, the order of the majors in this deck. They are, so that the devil is force majeure. And after the force majeure, the maladie, the magician, something gets stirred up. Something gets stirred up, and it really puts a different kind of nuance on the meaning of these cards. So the intention of the creator of this deck was that they really liked the historical decks, but they're not readable with the way we read tarot today. And I'm calling BS. I think that if you're going to use the cards from the Atea Tarot, learn what that deck is about, because it's a really cool deck. I would spend some time trying to figure out the majors, because there's 3 cards that have these circles. One is chaos. This is the star. It's the first card. And then this one, dépouillement. What does that mean? Dépouillement. I forget. And this is le ciel. So there's that one. And then there's this one. And this is la nuit. And this one is about space. So there's some really, really interesting stuff going on in this tarot deck. So why would you mash it up with a Tarot de Marseille and a Waite Smith? It makes no sense to me. So when I was years ago, sort of, fell into the, what do you call it? FOMO, or this deck first came out and people were buying it and talking about it, I grabbed it. But no, never. I would never read with this deck. It's just a mumble jumble of things that aren't meant to go together. And I think that if you're going to read with an older deck, read with an older deck. Yeah, if I'm going to read with a Soprafino, I'm going to read the whole deck, these beautiful, beautiful cards. I don't want other systems with them, So that's kind of where I don't even know if I'm going to talk about this when I get into my indie decks, because I don't have anything else to say about it, really. I just found it like, wow, I've never used this deck, and here it is sitting in my library, and I forgot how messed up it is. Donna. Yes. So, Masha, Musings by Masha, has a series that she's been working on this last year. I don't know if she started in January 2025. And I want to go back and rewatch her videos. I have put all my Minchiati decks together, and I want to do this as well too. I really do. I think it would be a great, great study. Yes, I'm very sorry that I missed out. And so, so that is also on the list for 2026. Always so many things to study, so many things to do. What are you going to sign up for? What are you going to sign up for? Let me know. I want to put together a study on the paths on the tree of life. There are so many things I want to do. I just don't know how to pick what. Oh, my Minchiati studies? Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, friends. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Find a way to embrace the energy of the opening of the portal before your head hits the pillow tonight, and just really honor what that means for you and enjoy that. Okay. I will get organized and figure out how I'm going to deliver these readings, and I will see you soon. Take good care. Namaste.